Hey guys, Uni here, and welcome to another episode of Love Mondays. So can I tell you, I already had not such a good start to the week. I ended up spilling coffee on my computer. So not only did I lose all my latest file, because hey, who has time to back up? I'm definitely not as good as I should be about it. I always forget to back up. So I lost all my files and I needed to find a new computer. Yeah, well, it's all good. Life goes on, right? So in today's show, I want to talk about how to start a podcast. I've been getting a lot of questions as to what are the required steps to syndicate your show, whether on iTunes and Stitchers, and what are some of the equipments that you need to get started. So I've had my own podcast for about a year and a half. It's called The Global Influencers. You can download it either on my website or on iTunes and Stitcher. I interview influencers in the fashion, e-commerce industry, whether it's marketing, productivity, tips, etc., you name it. It's been a really wild journey. I've learned so much throughout the way, so I wanted to give you guys kind of my top tips to help you get started. So first things first, let's talk software and equipment. I personally travel a lot, so needed to figure out a setup that I could take with me wherever I am, whether it's a hotel room in Tokyo or in my own living room in New York City. So you'll be really surprised as to what I was able to figure out. So right here is my mic. It's the Samsung Go, and actually the audio quality in this is tremendous considering it's only $30 on Amazon. And yeah, it's really teeny. Oh, get your mind out of the gutter. All I have to do is essentially set it up via USB to my computer. I didn't need to download any software whatsoever because my Mac was able to recognize the device immediately. And I do all my calls via Skype. I record all the Skype calls with the software called Ecamm, which is only $29. That's a lifetime value. So once you buy it, you don't need to renew it every year. And the call quality is actually tremendous. I personally love Skype. I think that Skype has amazing audio quality. Mostly everyone in the world has Skype, and if they don't, you can simply call them via Skype. So I've been using the following to record all my calls, and I also have my headphones over here, which are super cheap Sony headphones. I don't care, they're not even noise canceling or anything, and that's all I need, to be honest, to do a podcast. Like, you don't need any form of fancy equipment. What really matters is when you start editing. As far as editing, my little secret, now don't tell everyone about it, but I use an editor that I found on Fiverr, and you can add any comments if you want to know who that person is. I'd be more than happy to share his contact information with you, but he's amazing, and he's been doing all my editing throughout the years. My very first podcast, I attempted to edit myself on GarageBand, and it's really doable. It's a lot easier than I suspected, but I just don't have the bandwidth, and I found it's a lot easier to provide him with the files and for him to help me as far as all the editing is concerned. So second is formatting your show. Before I even hit record and started my own podcast, I sat down to think through about the overall type of music I wanted, what type of jingle I wanted to create, how I wanted to describe the show, etc., the type of guest I wanted to have in there as well. So I hired somebody on Fiverr to help me with the jingle, and also added little advertising break, if you will, so that individuals who are listening to the show can sort of, take their time when they're driving or commuting and have little breaks so they can digest whatever information they've listened to, especially if your podcast is kind of like mine and it's packed with information. So what I really suggest that you do is listen through different audio files. Like, I personally love Audio Jungle. There's just a lot of different music selection that you can add with a little jingle and whatnot to give your show personality. And also try to listen. I mean, I'm sure that you've listened to other podcasts if you're interested in podcasting yourself, but try to get ideas from other podcasters out there and try to get a sense of what would work specifically for your show. The third thing you'll want to do is syndicate your show. So syndicating your show, what I mean by that is that you want to find a provider where you can upload your MP3 file every week, and essentially it will aggregate the following to either iTunes, Stitchers. There's other aggregating platforms out there. I personally use Buzzsprout. I've loved it. I've been on it for about a year and a half. It also gives you analytics, so you have a sense of how many listeners you have on your show, which episodes are working better, etc., etc. So all you have to do is kind of go through the initial process of writing all the different features that describing what your show is. You also will need to create a favicon, so an image for your show, which is usually a square image, and you can find all that information online, and I'll make sure to include it as well in my blog post. All right, guys, well, I hope you found this information useful. As always, make sure to like it, share with your friend, and most importantly, subscribe if you haven't already. All right, guys, I'll see you next Monday. Bye.